welcome to my channel, Creating Essence. I am Megan and I'm so glad you're here today. Last month on a Wellness Wednesday, I shared with you all a way that I had really been able to transform how I was doing things in lots of different areas, and that I had taken inspiration from a book that I'd listened to on Audible, and that book was called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. I had seen it recommended a few times, different places on things like Instagram, where people had said they wanted to be a morning person, become a morning person, but they just didn't know how, they didn't know where to start, it was too hard, stuff like that. Now, I'm a morning person by nature, but I have a serious autoimmune disease that basically means I need to get plenty of sleep, and my mornings can be non-negotiable. I decided to give this book a listen and give it a try. First of all, I guess I could give you a mini review of the book. It has some great ideas, some great concepts. It is very largely an advertisement for the gentleman's paid website program called The Inner Circle, but he does include the hows and whys of Miracle Morning. But everything else in it kind of seems like a sales pitch, throwing you toward how much you need to join his inner circle. As much as I absolutely love the Miracle Morning concept, and I have employed it in my own life and it has helped so much, I kind of honestly, I would have been annoyed if I had spent money on this huge sales pitch and collection of testimonials about the inner circle. I got it as a freebie audiobook on Audible. So if you're interested in the Miracle Morning, try to find it at a library, because then you don't spend any money on it. It's really short. It's a quick read, a quick listen even. And it does have good information in it. A large part of the point of the Miracle Morning is recapture more of the time in your day to take better care of yourself and to improve yourself in many aspects. And it's to do that by getting up earlier, by having a plan, having a method, a routine, a rhythm, setting that alarm clock and getting up and developing self-discipline. It is so much easier when you have it mapped out and laid out than just the alarm goes off and I'm going to drag myself out of bed and get up and work out, or I'm going to get up and do this. It was so much easier for me when there was the method laid out. I mentioned in my last video that the Miracle Morning, the book, the methodology, the language was very self-helpy, very humanistic, very much all about me. And I shared that as a Christian, I have a lot more faith involved than that approach to life. But it was actually really easy to incorporate my faith and transform it into what I needed it to be. I also need to be very intentional about my self-care, especially if I'm getting up early. It kind of feels like a sacrifice in the sleep department. But what I realized is that I actually am eager to go to bed at night and not trying to stuff more into my evenings when I'm getting up and knowing I have this huge productive chunk and this great map of productivity laid out for me first thing in the morning. So I go to bed at 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and for some of you that's not doable. For me, it very much is. My kids are in bed between 8 and 9 every night, and for the most part, they stay there. So I am able to get the sleep I need despite getting up 2 hours earlier than I was before. The first thing that I do every morning is fill a big 42-ounce jug with water, and then I immediately take my supplements. And then through the rest of my Miracle Morning routine, it is my goal to have finished that jug of water so that I'm starting my day with my supplements and a really good dose of hydration. Then I get out my phone and start setting my timer for different chunks of time. A huge theme of the Miracle Morning is self-improvement, reading books, reading authors, reading blogs, things of that nature to improve yourself and to become a high achiever? Well, for me personally, the highest level of achievement is found through my faith. So after I take my supplements and get my water, I sit down and I do 15 minutes of reading the Bible. I sit and I read and I journal and I just continue until the timer goes off. And then I pull out my gratitude journal. At the beginning of 2019, I purchased an actual gratitude journal because I wanted it to be a physical reminder to every single day write down 3 things that I was grateful for. The gratitude journal takes a minute or so. And then I set my timer again and I spend about 10 minutes in prayer. That gratitude journal really sets the stage in my heart toward thinking about the positive and gives me a place to start from where I can just talk to God about thanking Him and talk to Him about what's going on in my life, what I may be concerned about, what I'm working on, asking for wisdom in different areas. And as much as being a Christian, I'm praying at various times all throughout the day, I find that this focused 10 minutes of sitting and talking to God is huge for me. After that prayer time, I do pull out a book, something that is inspirational, something has been on my list for years to read and I haven't ever had the time to get to. And I spend 15 minutes reading. After that 15 minutes is up, I get up and I work out. I use an at-home fitness program called Fit to Be. No, I have nothing to gain from this. It's just a program that I found about 3.5 years ago that has been incredible for me. So I pick a workout or two that fills that 30-minute time spot and I get it done. And I have had plenty of time to wake up and hydrate and be really ready for that in my day with the start of my miracle morning that has happened before that. So this has been a really great way to get my body awake and hydrated and have a much more effective workout. And then after that, I spend a half an hour either out in the garden or detail cleaning something inside. One of my goals in the 100 Days of Change was to cut down on the clutter, to get rid of the unnecessary, and this has been amazing. I also, because of my autoimmune disease, can't really work outside in the heat of summer during the daytime. So I invested a little bit of money and got myself a really cheesy camper's headlamp, and no matter how light or how dark it is, I go outside and get stuff done in the garden when there's something to do out there. By the time that's done, it's about time to wake my kids up and get ready to start the day. I get them up at 7 o'clock every day, and it has been so good for me as a person and me as a mother and me and my relationships with them to not be groggy and just rolling out of bed when I get them up, but to be fully awake, fully hydrated, have my heart and mind in a good place, be physically feeling awake and good. Having this miracle morning routine in place has transformed my entire day in so many ways. I no longer feel like I'm starting out behind the 8 ball. It makes me more productive as a homeschool mom, as a wife. I'm not half asleep and struggling to come up with something for breakfast for everyone. And then the rest of my day, I already have a jump start on because I have knocked out some things that needed to be taken care of that day. So I can be more productive in my work, which are my jobs and things that I talked about in my video recently about how I earn an income here at home.
And no, it is not a sales pitch.
Let me know if you have ever heard of this miracle morning thing. Let me know if you've ever tried it. I was really dubious, especially with my health struggles. So I let myself sleep in on Saturdays and Sundays. This past week, I have found myself waking up at 5 o'clock anyway and feeling fully rested and ready to go. I'm not feeling drained. I don't feel like I am stealing sleep or rest from myself. So many of you, when I talked about my miracle morning routine that I was getting into last month, asked me to share that with you. So I hope you all really enjoyed this and found this useful. If you have any questions, as always, leave them in the info box below. I answer them as soon as I see them. Sometimes YouTube is glitchy and doesn't show them to me until sometimes weeks later they pop up. But I do absolutely do my best to see them as soon as possible and respond. We'll see you again soon.